Okay. Okay.
I don't know if anybody,
Huh?
if anybody uses that chair.
Well, now there's a stool over here.
Oh, there. Oh, the stool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's for Bronson.
Is he too tall?
Hmm?
Is he too tall? Okay.
Yep. So Pete said, hey, use the stool.
Oh.
Oh.
Check, check. Thank you. If we can just get it to continue tearing in half, and then so part of the barge could go through the gate, then we'd be in the clear.
Right now at 6, it's gotta go. Waterway workers are scrambling to remove a barge that could cause a lot more issues with an Alabama dam.
Plus, one U.S. senator said Mississippi needs help from last week's flooding rainfall. However, the federal government is holding back, at least for now.
We are looking at a potential for more issues because now we have a tropical system with an 80% likelihood of developing into a full-blown tropical cyclone. When could it affect you? What will it bring? We're tracking the latest.
Required or not, Governor Reeves had a clear answer when it comes to your child wearing a mask at school this fall.
And while the Diamond Dogs are headed up to Omaha, other Mississippi State coaches stayed a little closer to home to say hi to some local fans. WTVA 9 News at 6 starts now.
Live, local, late-breaking. This is WTVA 9 News.
Good evening, I'm Craig Ford.
And I'm Emily Leonard. Thank you for joining us for WTVA 9 News at 6.
A barge blocking the spillway at the Tom Bevel Lock and Dam is creating more concern than workers originally thought. WTVA's Rhea Thornton was in Pickensville, Alabama today, where she spoke with an official with the TENN-TOM Waterway about the status of that lock.
I'm at the Bevel Lock and Dam where you can see behind me the barge is sticking up out of the water. That barge is actually blocking one of the gates, making it impossible for workers to close the gate if necessary, which is causing major concern to waterway workers.
We desperately need to get this barge out of this gate.
Early Saturday morning, elevated water levels because of recent rains caused a barge near Columbus to break loose. The barge floated downstream and struck the spillway at the Bevel Lock and Dam in Pickensville. Justin Murphy, the operations manager for the TENN-TOM Waterway, said the barge is now stuck underneath a gate. He said the spillway currently can't be closed.
We were flowing a lot of water at the time, so when we flow a lot of water, anything that's loose like that, it just sucks it right to the spillway.
He said as water levels begin to lower, the barge blocking the gate could run the risk of draining the Bevel Pool, raising the water level downstream of the spillway. If water levels become too low upstream, Murphy said they would need to shut down the waterway, halting transportation for many businesses.
There are ways around, but it's about 700 miles longer to go around the Mississippi than it is to come through the TENN-TOM. So it would be a detriment to the industry.
However, waterway workers are working to find ways to prevent the imbalance from happening. Murphy said as of right now, their biggest hope is to break the barge into 2 pieces. As you can see from the large crack in the barge, the work has already begun.
If we can just get it to continue tearing in half, and then so part of the barge could go through the gate, then we'd be in the clear.
Murphy said 2 boats are on their way to remove the barge from the spillway. They hope to have the barge out by tomorrow. Reporting in Pickensville, Rhea Thornton, WTVA 9 News.
The lock and dam system up and down the TENN-TOM waterway plays an important role in controlling water levels and helping move boats up and down the waterway. The lock raises and lowers the boats to help them travel the inland waterway. The spillway can be open or closed to maintain the water levels in the lakes and the canals to make sure there's enough water for boats and barges to use the waterway. U.S. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith said recovering from damage to crops and rural infrastructure caused by last week's flooding may need a federal disaster declaration. The senator addressed the state's flood damage during a U.S. Senate Agriculture Appropriations Subcommittee hearing. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack committed to helping the Magnolia State, but acknowledged a lack of available money through relevant USDA assistance programs. More than 100 homes and buildings, plus more than 130 public roads were either damaged or destroyed by last week's flooding.
Grenada police believe a Tupelo woman who went missing last month is dead. According to a release from the police department, officers have yet to find Jacqueline Garner's body, but they have reason to believe that she is dead. Police arrested these 2 people in connection with her death, Reginald Daniels and Brandy Hyde. Police Chief George Douglas said Gardner left Tupelo May 27th and was headed to Grenada. A week later, officers found her vehicle at a convenience store in Grenada. Douglas said that she was supposed to meet a male acquaintance in the city. In Monroe County, police are now looking into a fatal overnight shooting. Monroe County Coroner Alan Gurley said that he went to a home just before 1 this morning on South Hickory Street. Investigators found 37-year-old George Dion Williams dead in his driveway from a gunshot wound. The shooter, we're told, ran from the scene, but Monroe County deputies later captured someone. Gurley said that they sent Williams' body to the state crime lab for an autopsy. Some kids in part of Oktibbeha County may have to call it an early night. The city of Starkville is meeting right now to discuss whether or not to add a curfew for kids in the area. This comes after the city saw 11 kids charged as adults for violent crimes since the beginning of the year. The curfew would be set from 12 to 5 a.m. every day. We'll keep you updated on their decision coming up later tonight on WTVA 9 News at 10.
2 people are now in the Monroe County Jail on drug charges. Amory police charged 32-year-old Travis Jackson of Caledonia with possession of a controlled substance. A judge set his bond at $15,000. 35-year-old Joseph Wilson of Grenada also faces a possession of a controlled substance charge. A judge set his bond at $5,000. Again, these 2 men are at the Monroe County Jail. A man who worked as an employee services contractor at a state poultry processing plant pleaded guilty to a federal charge. The charge is connected to one of the largest workplace immigration raids in the United States in the past decade. Court records revealed 58-year-old Salvador Delgado Nieves of Pilahatchee pleaded guilty on Monday to harboring a person who was in the United States illegally. Sentencing is set to take place in September. In August 2019, law enforcement arrested 680 mostly Latino workers at multiple poultry processing plants in central Mississippi. Court documents said 6 of 7 Mississippi chicken processing plants raided were willfully and unlawfully employing people who lacked authorization to work in the country.
Come to you with a heavy heart this afternoon. Tragedy has struck in our community.
Family members and friends are grieving after their loved ones died in a workplace shooting in North Alabama. It happened around 2:30 this morning at the Mueller Company in Albertville. 2 employees, Michael Lee Dobbins and David Lee Horton, died. 2 others were hurt and taken to hospitals. The accused shooter is identified as 34-year-old Andreas Horton. He fled in a vehicle. Hours later, law enforcement found him in a car in Gunnersville, about 15 miles from that plant.
Some new mask guidelines are now in effect for the city of Aberdeen. Aberdeen aldermen adopted a new ordinance to comply with the current CDC recommendations that allows fully vaccinated people to take off their masks. The new ordinance begins today.
It is important, if you have not been vaccinated, to still wear your mask. If you have, you don't have to, but I would still encourage you to wear it if you're in a large amount of group of people. So it's exciting.
And while no one will ask to see a vaccination card, they do hope that people will be honest about whether they are fully vaccinated. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves said for now he will not mandate that Mississippi children get the coronavirus vaccine before they go back to school later this year.
I believe the vaccines are perfectly safe, but they are under an emergency use authorization. They have not been fully approved by the CDC and by the FDA.
The governor made that comment prior to a tour this morning of the Ashley Furniture plant in Saltillo. He added there also won't be a mask mandate for the public schools in the new year as well.
He came in to take over a troubled school district. Now Noxubee County's superintendent of education is stepping away and could be heading north. That story and much more are straight ahead at WTVA 9 News at 6. Yeah, that's fine. You're fine. You're fine. No, hey, who's doing weather? Yeah. Okay. Because I need to get Josh Strunk to come down here and get this laptop back on the internet.
You want me to take it? Well,
is Emily in this block?
I'm in the, yeah. I can do the toss if you'll switch.
Yeah, do you mind if we switch it? Have Emily do the weather toss while I take the computer to Josh. Because he's going to leave at 6:30, and once he's gone, and the morning crew will have. All right.
I mean, I could go sit over there.
Yeah, you could tell me. I don't care.
Sit over there.
Oh, come on, really? Welcome back to WTVA 9 News at 6. I'm Craig Ford. One automotive parts plant is creating more jobs in Olive Branch. Edelbrock will move its headquarters and manufacturing operations to Mississippi. The company recently merged with Comp Performance Group, which operated several facilities in the Olive Branch and greater Memphis area. As a result of the move, the company will create and transition 80 headquarters jobs and 120 manufacturing and support jobs. The company plans to fill the 202 jobs in 3 years. Several folks are now vying to fill the Lowndes County prosecutor position. County Supervisor or County Leader Jay Fisher said 4 people applied to fill the position vacated following the death of Steve Wallace. He died last month after a short illness. The board previously approved to appoint William Starks to the position until a special election in November. Noxubee County's school superintendent is saying goodbye. Superintendent Rod Brodnax announced he's leaving the schools. The state appointed him as a conservator for the district. The district said he's taking a job in Michigan, but Brodnax said that's not set in stone.
I hadn't signed the contract there, and what can I do here? And then after a while, God just gave me peace. That's where I was supposed to be, and my time here in Noxubee was up.
Broadnax's last day on the job is June 30th.